everybody. Whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world, this is Coast to Coast. What's happening, guys? We got Super Bowl this week.
It is, and I am getting ready to head out here, out, and literally we are down to like 6 hours.
Nice. So where are you staying down there?
A few miles away from the convention center.
Okay.
I think I'm staying. I think I'm staying so that we're close to the bridge. There's a big bridge they call the Golden Gate, and I think I'm staying on one side of that bridge.
Well, I mean, I guess at least you're not staying on the bridge. I guess there's that. I know you're not staying.
Or jumping off the bridge, you know.
Right on.
And I'm thank God I'm on the San Francisco side of the bridge because I heard the other side of the bridge is not so fine. That's Oakland.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you staying in Oakland or San Fran?
But
good
yeah,
stuff.
I'm all ready to go. It's gonna be a good time. Not sure what I'm gonna be able to get into or not get into. I'm hoping that if you guys are watching the awards ceremonies, that I am either on the red carpet or in the event. I got my suit ready to go. It's all pressed, and my makeup going to be looking fresh, and it should be it should be interesting to say the least. This is last year was an amazing experience because the Eagles were in it.
Sure.
This year is going to be such a different experience because the Eagles aren't in it.
Yep.
Yeah. So there are certain things that I feel like some guys are going to be like, "Why are you here?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, it would make sense. There might be some of that.
And so I will tell them like, "Hey, I'm here because
I want to be here, damn it."
Yeah, because I'm me. I'm the Philly sports guy. Why wouldn't I be here? This is a sport. This is a sporting event. This is one of the premier sporting events. Why wouldn't I be here?
Yep.
So we'll see. We'll see how that all works out. But I'm hoping to run into some people. I'm hoping. See, now this could be a really good time where, the last time I saw Beast Mode, I asked him for a quick little interview, and he said no, and I accepted his no and just let him be. If he's walking around, and I expect that he will be walking around in Radio Row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if I'd be able to maybe get a word with him this time, because I was respectful
you have
last
a booth,
time.
Right?
I do have a booth. I actually have it's a table. So they set everybody up with tables, and then you can make your own booth if you want to.
Yeah. Well, I just meant booth as a table, right? Because everybody sets their system up different, but you get a table and the connections and everything. That'll probably help you out. Right.
Yes.
If you're just walking around, most of those guys are like, yeah, like I'm probably kind of good. But if you actually have a spot on Radio Row, they're generally much more interested in stopping by.
Right. So it'll be kind of fun to see what's going on and who I could get and who I could pull, and just some of the interviews that I'll get to do and talk to. You know what I mean? That's part of the fun of doing this.
No, it'll be fun. It'll be fun, especially since, obviously wildly different than having your team in it, but now you get to do it from the media side, right?
Right. So, and that's part of what I'm going to be doing today on the plane. I have 6 hours of a plane ride, and I'm going to just be coming up with different questions to ask.
No, that makes sense. I mean, especially if you kind of have an idea who's going to be there, because then you can kind of, look at things that were good or bad during the season for them. Mm-hmm. And, that way you have a little more pointed questions instead of just off the cuff, right?
Right. So, and to answer the question that you have, Rob, I personally did not get a table. Well, who got a table was my agent.
Yeah.
And we're sharing that table with a couple of our sponsors.
Gotcha.
So I am going to be the spokesperson for TickPick.
Oh, okay.
And if you happen to be going to the Super Bowl and you want to get a discount on your ticket, use code PSG150 for $150 off the TickPick app.
Yeah.
Seattle has been using that a lot, actually. I passed that off to a few people, and it's been being used, which is amazing. So,
that's awesome.
there's as of right this second, I have not passed it off to Patriots fans.
Don't pass it out to Patriots fans. They don't need to come.
Right.
So they pay full price, and I just tell them $41.33. But yeah. Also, was reading this really major thing about Mike Vrabel.
Okay.
Last year, he worked with Stefanski in Cleveland.
Yeah, he was he was a senior defensive consultant or whatever the heck. They created a new position just to get him in Cleveland, basically.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and the reason why he did that was because his home is like not far away.
That was like an hour, not even.
Yeah, not even. And it's kind of interesting. I was reading that whole story and how, the Titans kind of did him dirty. The owner of the Titans, that woman, did him a little dirty, and now not even a full 2 years since he was fired.
Yep.
He's back up again for Coach of the Year. Probably will win it.
Mm-hmm.
He should.
Yeah, I mean, it's if it's either him. I mean, I guess you could say it could be Peyton too.
What I heard yesterday is between Vrabel and Ben Johnson as the top two.
Yeah, I was going to say Ben Johnson would be in it. Peyton would be in it. And Shanahan, believe it or not, would be in it because he was doing stuff with everybody hurt.
With it being a regular.
And then how about your coach?
He's in the conversation, but he won't win.
Yeah.
Why won't he?
Because they were a playoff team last year. They were 10-7 last year and made the playoffs last year. So it's not like they came from bottom feeders up.
Do you think he wins offensive coordinator of the year? And I'm not saying your offensive coordinator is who I'm talking about, not.
Oh, Kubiak?
Will
Probably.
Kubiak win it?
Did
I hear that he's accepting the Raiders job?
Yep.
Yeah, like that wasn't a huge shock.
Does it make you nervous though? Because a lot of times you see that when going into the Super Bowl, a coordinator gets hired by another team, and then whatever side of the ball they're coordinating kind of looks really flat.
No, so honestly, I'm kind of not in this scenario, because he wasn't flying all over the country to do these.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing these like Zoom calls essentially. So I always worry when it's like an in-person, the coach has to fly all over and then get back and be with the team and all of that. If it's a Zoom call, like there's 1,000 Zoom calls, right? Plus, he had already turned down jobs in the bye week. Right. So, like, if he was going to come out flat, would have been that week.
Right. I just think it's funny how one bad defensive performance by the Rams has basically cost Chris Shula a coaching job. And now the Cardinals are hiring Mike LaFleur instead.
Yeah.
Because Chris Shula was the favorite to get that Cardinals job pretty much the entire end of the season through the playoffs. Like, it was pretty much like Chris Shula was predicted to land with Arizona, and then Seattle gashes that defense. And I was
but they wanted to – that wasn't the problem. I thought that they wanted an offensive coordinator. That the Cardinals last year, obviously Gannon was defensive, and it didn't work. And that they wanted an offensive coordinator. Then that was the final decision. That had nothing to do with the fact of what happened at the Rams game. Just my opinion.
Rob, everything that I've heard, so I haven't gone to Levi, but everything that I've heard is the views are pretty solid everywhere.
Yeah.
But if you're in the 400 level of the one side, you actually get to see the entire valley as well, because the other side of the stadium is it's kind of like an old school college stadium.
Yeah.
Where the home team has got everything on their side and you have a smaller section on the far side. Such a weirdo stadium.
Right.
It is such a weirdo stadium. I'm not really excited to, I've not been there yet.
I gotcha.
And
Well, that's the
I
fun
will
fact
be there.
about-
I will be there next year, but not this year.
So, Rob, to answer your question here, I agree with you that I wish they couldn't mess with the coaches until after Super Bowl. And, in college too, like after the national championship, then you can do stuff. Like, I wish that's how it worked. That being said, it's not as big of a distraction in the locker room as you'd think, because players and coaches move every single year.
Yeah.
Right. So is it disruptive? Sure. At the same time, these guys are going to go play for a Super Bowl. Like, they're trying to win this year. So again, it's, is it a slight distraction? Sure. I think it's spun up more by the media than it is in the locker rooms though.
Mm-hmm. The fun fact about the San Francisco Stadium too, Pegs, is the one side of the field that sits higher up than the other, they grow all of the food that they use for concessions at that stadium. They have a gigantic garden on the very top of the press boxes that they literally grow everything that they serve for the concession, so they don't have like any outside concession food coming in. It's all grown on site at the stadium.
That
obviously like the burgers and stuff like that, but like all like the vegetables that they use, all like anything that's
there's
like
no way.
Yep.
There's
No
way
chance.
that volume.
No chance. Not the potatoes. No way. There's no way.
grow everything.
I tell you, the last time I was in San Francisco, their big deal was getting French fries with the vinegar stuff. Like they have like the salt and vinegar French fries. That is like the big deal there. There's no way that they can grow that many potatoes on top of a press box.
It's a 4,000-foot organic garden that produces over 40 types of crops, herbs, including vegetables, peppers, and herbs used for food serving during the 49ers games.
I'd be willing to bet that they grow every spice and herb that
But
they
it's,
use.
it's vegetables too.
Yeah. So I would bet that there is a booth that they do that for. There's no way it's every concession through the whole building.
Yeah, no,
It
impossible.
just wouldn't have the volume of food out of that size of
4,000 square foot's not a lot. You know
It's
what I mean? That's about as big as my apartment and the bar downstairs.
especially if you're thinking you're talking about 40,000 people a game. Like that.
63,000. It has, or 67,000. There's 67,000 seats there.
No, I understand that, but that's not who shows up every time, right? Especially for Niners games. So you figure it's like, say 50, right? You're not feeding, and only half of them order something. You're still not feeding 25,000 people every other weekend off a 4,000 square foot garden. Like, it's just not going to happen.
The farm, I guess it says the farm yields roughly 150 to 400 pounds of food per week.
Yeah, that is eaten by literally, so 400 pounds of food is eaten by 1,200 people.
Yeah.
A third of a pound, he's figuring. I mean, obviously they're not eating like that, but like 1,200 people are eating that much food in the stadium.
Well, and that doesn't even account for, stuff that gets burned and thrown away and whatever. So, I mean, there's no way it's feeding the whole stadium, but I have no doubt that they have like an organic booth that it provides all the food for.
It wouldn't surprise me if they fed all of the press with that food.
Oh,
that's more realistic, actually. And for the Super Bowl, that's exactly like it would probably kill it over there.
Yeah. Yeah, especially since the press food can be questionable.
Yeah, exactly. But I won't go to the stadium this year. Obviously, I'm not going there. But so I have been to 3Com.
3Com.
That's what it was called when I went. Yeah, it was my first, and it was the very first Eagles game that I ever got painted up for.
Yeah.
And then I went on. Is it Bleecker Street? The street that's the most crooked street in
Oh,
the world. Is that what it is? Bleecker Street.
I think so.
yeah, I don't remember.
Been on that. I went to the Real Ghirardelli. Yeah. Interestingly enough, that most of Ghirardelli's chocolate beans come from right down the street from me.
Really?
Yeah, there is a candy factory. It's a chocolate factory that is right down the street from me, and they process 82% of all of the chocolate in the world. So that they what they do and what that means is that when they're getting the cocoa beans, most of the times it's filled with rocks and dirt and shit like that. They have conveyor belts to process the dirt off and then the rocks and stuff like that. They get rid of like something like in the neighborhood of like 800 tons of clean fill a year. Just to be able to process the cocoa beans, just to get the cocoa beans out of the dirt. So, but that's what it is. They get the large shipping containers of cocoa beans, and they process it and clean off all the cocoa beans, and then they get dispersed throughout the country.
There we go.
Lombard
Street.
Thank you, not Bleecker.
Yeah, I was going to say that didn't sound right.
Bleecker's a street somewhere. Like a big street
believe
somewhere.
it.
I'm not sure where, but
One.
Frankie is like he's like the big peacock right now, showing his feathers and puffing all out. He's like, yeah, I said the Patriots just like I said the Lakers and the Yankees and
So
That's all right. Rob's going to jump in here and call him a front runner here in a second.
so
Anyway.
I'm gonna rip the Band-Aid off my own team right now. Boy, did Minnesota open up a can of worms this weekend.
I guess I missed it. With
the whole firing their GM, and now you hear a lot more behind of why he's getting fired. And they opened up a massive can of worms on this one.
In what way?
So basically, not bringing back Sam Darnold was a big factor, and a lot of people kind of thought that Kevin O'Connell
to the Super Bowl.
Well, no, a lot of people thought it was Kevin O'Connell's decision to go with McCarthy because they always called him like the quarterback whisperer and things like that. Kevin O'Connell wanted nothing to do with McCarthy. Like, he wanted Darnold back more than I think people realized that he wanted Darnold back. And he basically said, I need a veteran quarterback to run this system. We have a guy that just won 14 games with this system. Like, this guy can run my offense.
See, that's the thing that I think everybody looked at as potentially a fireable offense.
Yeah.
You get rid of a guy that ran your offense that won 14 games. It's hard to move off of a hot hand, right? That's like when a backup comes in and is just killing it. It's like, yeah, we have a starter, but our backup just won 5 in a row, so we should probably see what he's got. In this case, you put up 14 wins. Man, that's tough to move off of. Now, I'm glad they did.
Right. So a couple other reasons why he's getting fired was the team also failed to secure Daniel Jones, as in Minnesota was willing to give Daniel Jones more money than the Colts gave Daniel Jones, but Kwesi didn't want to 100% commit to Daniel Jones being the starter. So Daniel Jones basically said the vibe I was getting from ownership was no matter how I would play during training camp, the job was going to be McCarthy's whether I played better than him or not. So why would I come here when I have a chance to start somewhere else? Kwesi also opted against signing Aaron Rodgers when Kevin O'Connell tried to get Aaron Rodgers in the building after Darnold went to Seattle. So that was another big thing. And the other big thing makes the Jets using Madden for trades sound kind of good. It has been confirmed that Kwesi used Pro Football Focus to help determine which free agents to bring into Minnesota.
Wow.
What a freaking moron. That's why you don't hire somebody from the Browns organization. That's all I'm going to say.
Hey, at least he wasn't using ChatGPT to make his offensive plays.
He was using Gronk.
No, but that's why you don't hire Scott. That's why you don't hire people from the Browns organization. But not only that, that's why you don't hire somebody that always used analytics to make decisions in the Browns organization. Like he was an analytically driven guy in the Browns organization that was always looking for the cheaper way out or going against the grain to try to do things. Like you can't sign players based on analytical decisions.
That's not true. When you work for an organization that's cheap, you got to find a cheap way out.
Well, no, but like when you're running like the Vikings, when you are the GM of the Vikings, like you can't go off of analytics and be like, this guy's an analytically good player, so we are going to bring him in. No, that's not going to fit Kevin O'Connell's scheme. It's not going to fit Brian Flores' scheme.
Yeah, Don, I am going to the Pro Bowl. I leave in a few hours. The Pro Bowl's tomorrow, by the way.
Yeah.
And it does help, too, that Justin Jefferson threw him under the bus also, which I love.
What he's like, let people know what they said.
Like, so like whose podcast was he on? Somebody's podcast. It was one of the people that work on NFL Network. And they brought up just his struggles that he had this year with getting the football and just kind of the growing pains that J.J. McCarthy went through. And Justin Jefferson basically said, had we kept Sam Darnold, we would have been better off. We would have had a better team. Darnold's a proven veteran who knew all the receivers for the past year, so why would you get rid of someone that knows all of the receivers, that knows how we like to run our routes, that knows where to place the ball and put the keys to the car on a 22-year-old rookie who never started? I'm like, that's throwing McCarthy under the bus real massive.
Yeah, there seems to be a trend to that this offseason. People throwing each other under the bus in front of the media. Kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think that nobody's safe anymore. That's what we're learning. That you are your own entity. I'm surprised that, like I said, I'm surprised they haven't gotten rid of Schoen yet, from the Giants.
For sure.
I'm sure that that's because Mara likes this guy for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But that's like a big, why would you bother? Like I don't understand why you would keep him.
Especially when you just brought in John Harbaugh. Like you would think that you brought in John Harbaugh, like a proven coach has been coaching now for almost 20 years in the NFL as a head coach. Like you would think that you'd want to get him some sort of competent GM to be like, here, help me fix what we need to fix in New York and let's build a championship roster, as opposed to Joe Schoen. I'll just sit here and decide that this player shouldn't be here when he really should be here.
Well, actually, I think that, they gave him a lot more control, too. So Joe Schoen is almost now like a puppet a little bit anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So very weird in general. But, hey, you know what? That's the way it goes.
Yeah, there's the people that like somehow survived all these firings is interesting, because like some of these guys you thought for sure were getting fired.
Yeah,
Schoen obviously one of them. Everybody in Cincy, like
everybody and their mother in Cincinnati, but yet Zach Taylor stays.
Like
I feel like that's a story that's going to come out this week, Frankie. That has been really quiet.
Yeah, so they have talked about it a fair amount. Cancer free. He's not going to be calling plays, but he'll be in the building.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be, an emotional lift anyway, but won't really be involved in the game. And yeah, so that one's interesting too. Easily the least attractive job of all the openings.
Right.
They don't have a lot of money to spend. They have a quarterback that, is odd and expensive. Been hurt a lot now.
See, that's honestly, that's kind of why I felt that Arizona would bring in Chris Shula, because they could have still brought Chris Shula in to be the head coach.
Sure.
And then Mike LaFleur could have followed to be the OC because he didn't call plays with the Rams. So if he would have taken that OC job, it would have been basically a lateral promotion because he would have went from being a non-play calling OC to calling plays for Arizona. Like, I thought Shula and LaFleur together, I thought was ultimately what was going to happen in Arizona, where Shula would get the job, bring in Mike LaFleur to be the OC, and then figure out what they're going to do for the DC after that. Because now it's like you can't even bring Chris Shula with you because he calls the plays for the Rams defensively. So you wouldn't be able to make him your defensive coordinator because he's already doing that.
I don't know. I mean, you take the job if you can.
I do like the hire the Niners made though for their DC. Raheem Morris. Yeah. I thought you guys knew that Raheem Morris got hired.
We did, but you remember there's people watching the show, so you don't have to like hide information.
So yeah, Raheem Morris is kind of like
killing me.
Do you think he gets another head coaching job? Or do you think he's kind of resorted to the fact that he's just better as a DC than a head coach?
He might at some point, especially in a year where, like, if you have another one of these years where 10 jobs open up, that's where you're going to see guys like him get those phone calls. That's why you saw, people kick the tires on Dable and, like guys that you're like, yeah, you may or may not get another shot. When you have a third of the league get fired,
right?
That's where some of these guys get their second shot.
And then you have Matt Nagy, who looks like he's going to be out of the NFL this year, which I think is really funny.
Yeah, I mean,
well, he left Kansas City because he had 5 or 6 head coaching interviews.
Yeah.
So like he knew he was getting interest to be hired as a head coach, which is why he left the Chiefs. But then after he goes through all these interviews, he obviously didn't get a job. But none of these teams are even showing interest in him as an OC either. So that just goes to show you, like, hey, you may have been interested as a head coach, but you're not a very good OC. So now that you didn't get hired, now you're jobless. Unless the Cardinals call and be like, we need an OC, come over.
Yeah.
So, is today the transfer deadline? No, okay, that's not what we're talking about. I was like, damn,
Cole is getting crushed over there right now.
Something is making my nose mad.
Holy moly.
Brutal.
Yesterday they had the the Stadium Series.
That was awesome in Tampa.
I tell you, I can't stand either one of these teams. I cannot do it. I just can't. They both suck as far as I'm concerned. But Jeremy Swayman is by far the softest goalie known in the NHL. I bet you could get under his skin just by yelling. Like I used to do it all the time. Just yell, Jeremy. But it was funny to watch. The goalies are fighting again.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I think he Scooby-Doo masks and it's like DK or somebody.
I mean, people were wondering how hockey in Florida was going to work. Have it be 33 degrees in Tampa with a 27-degree wind chill helps.
That very well did.
Ice is not going to melt when it's like that.
And not only that, like they had a Stadium Series over in Penn State for college, where Penn State lost, and the best player in college hockey, maybe ever in college hockey, was on display a little bit. But they weren't sure if they were going to do it because it was too cold, and they were having issues with the ice because it was too cold. Sounds funny, but it's a problem that you could have in these Stadium Series.
That was like
Tampa is not used to that weather. They are not used to that weather at all.
Well, yeah, no. If it gets too cold, then you can end up with like lumpy.
That was like in the AHL 2 weeks ago when the Milwaukee Admirals were facing the Iowa Wild at a Stadium Series game for the AHL. They played it at Kinnick Stadium, University of Iowa. it was -8 with a -23 wind chill outside, and they played that game outside, but they had to stop the game like every 10 minutes to kind of resurface the ice because it started to get, like you said, clumpy.
It gets floppy, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
And
what happens is that
those guys credit for standing out there.
They had to give them heated seats.
No, like even the players itself, though. Like I gave everyone that was involved in that game, like -23-degree wind chill, -8 air temperature, playing a hockey game outside. I'm like, I give you guys all the credit in the world, pads or not. Like you had to be frozen out there.
Oh yeah.
But that's like, what was that movie, Mystery Alaska? Yeah, when the Rangers go up to play the Alaskan team.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
So I didn't see the slash, but it didn't ruin their chances to win. Obviously, he stopped all 9 shots, and they weren't really able to get the puck. It's so weird. This 3-on-3 in overtime for 5 minutes. So much of the time, it's one team holding the puck for 4.5 minutes.
Yep. And
you get like 30 seconds maybe going the opposite direction where you have maybe one shot on goal, which is kind of what happened here. The fact that they went to the shootout and the guys didn't, they can't do breakaway shots anymore. Penalty shots used to be a thing. It's not anymore. They're too busy being soft about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they go in too slow and then they want to try to deke the goalie at the last second. No, go in there fast. That's what gets the goalie, because the goalie's got one chance to grab it. You can deke and then shoot high or shoot 5-hole, stuff like that. It's just amazing how they've changed the way this is, because it happens all the time now. It used to be you skate right in and you shoot the puck and you get it on net and you make sure that you put it in a place that the goalie's not.
Yep.
You hit a plate or you 5-hole it. That's what you're supposed to do. And they play soft. It's like, I'm going to go in real slow. I'm going to go far edge here. And then I'm going to cut across the goalie. And the goalie's got all the position there. And I always wondered, hey, listen, if the goalie gave the poke check, that would be it. So, I don't know. Just the way I think about things. Because I am an old school hockey guy. You didn't see a slash? Okay, no slash. Obviously, they called it, though.
Kraken are back in the win column, winning 4 in a row. And, man, the inconsistency of this team is frustrating.
But they do have so the Avalanche have the least amount of games played. They actually have one more game played than the Avalanche, but they hold 2 games on both the Vegas Knights. 1 game on the Vegas Knights, 2 games on the Edmonton Oilers. So they could, in theory, wind up in first place in those, because Vegas and Edmonton are tied right now.
Yeah.
With 64 points, and they've got 61 points.
Mm-hmm.
And the Flyers are severely out of the playoffs with 58 points, which is so interesting to me. So you got very big disparity between the East and the West. The West stinks this year, except for Colorado.
Yeah,
which will be out in the first round because they're going to win the President's Cup.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how these teams come back after the Olympic break.
I don't think Colorado's going to win the President's Cup because they've actually cooled off a little bit and have let teams like Minnesota kind of get back in it.
Hold on. Minnesota is 7 points down on them right now.
Yeah, they've gained like 8 points over the last 10 games. Like Colorado had 3 losses, and now they're up to 8.
Yeah.
Like Colorado's starting to cool down a little bit, and they're letting Dallas and Minnesota hang around a little bit, and what to the point where I think Minnesota and Dallas can overtake them after the break. Because Colorado's sending a lot more people to the Olympics than Minnesota and Dallas are. So if theoretically speaking, Dallas and Minnesota, if they wanted to practice, they could practice with a lot more of their guys than Colorado could.
Yeah, I guess in their last 10 games, they are 4-4-2.
Yeah.
Like they're not playing at the level that they were playing at for the majority of the season. And with so many of their players going to the Olympics, it's going to take them a little while after the break to kind of get back into the groove because they're going to have these players that are going to be out for 3 weeks. They're going to have the people coming back from the Olympics that are going to need a couple days off just to come back from being in Italy and just come back from just playing in the Olympics. That it could take them probably a week, maybe even 2 weeks to get back into the swing of how they were. And that could open the door for Dallas and Minnesota to even close the gap a little more.
Well, that's my point is, because of the length of this break, it'll be interesting to see the teams that maybe have been struggling or inconsistent, that it kind of gives them that reset.
Mm-hmm.
And then teams like the Avalanche that have been killing it, does it mess up momentum? Not to say that their last 10 games haven't been great, obviously.
No.
But,
out of the 15 games they had, they lost 8 of them.
Yeah. They're not
2 overtime losses and 6 actual losses. So
yeah, they're cooling off a little bit.
For sure.
Yeah, but they've only been they had 3 major losses. 3 times they lost this month, 7-3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. And then losing 5-2, 4-2, 2-1, and then beating the Red Wings 5-0. And it's a home and home. So we'll see. I mean,
it's kind of funny though what you said about the Red Wings there too. Is I gotta do some research on this too. The Red Wings might have the longest gap in NHL history between home games because they played Colorado at home Saturday. They played Colorado at home Saturday, so January 31st was their last home game. The Red Wings are not at home again until March 5th because their next 2 games, today and Wednesday, are on the road. Then they have the Olympic break where they're not playing. And then their first couple of games after the Olympic break, they're still on the road. They don't come back home until March 5th, so they have over a month off between home games.
The 4th against the Golden Knights, yes. That all 4 games that they have in February are away.
Yep. So they're about 5 weeks away from being at home. So that's got to be even counting all the Olympics in the past, that's got to be the longest gap between home games, basically 5 weeks.
Yeah. That's why I muted his mic when.
And it's done now. That's gone. And see, this is why I got to solve this problem. We're going to get that figured out because obviously we're not going to be able to do that at the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah. No, your earbuds definitely pick up a lot around.
I don't know why. There's a setting for this. I know that there is. I just haven't figured it out. I don't know if that did it or not.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's quiet in your house, so we won't know. But
right, not if I'm sucking. But now that it's gone, there's nothing to suck in on there.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
But yeah, I'd be willing to bet that there's maybe another team out there that probably has all 4 games away.
Man, I wish I was going to the Super Bowl there. And Rob, I did answer your question about OCs. I'm still kind of putting the list together, so that's why I haven't answered that question.
Prices for these tickets have dropped tremendously, by the way.
Nice.
It's now the cheapest ticket to get in, $4,500. And you can get $150 off by using the TickPick app using code PSG150. But yeah, that's right now $4,500 is And the official Super Bowl package, which was crazy at one point, is now down to like 8,100. So this is not going to be a well. They'll sell all these tickets,
Yeah, of course.
but I have a feeling you're going to see them at regular price very soon. Normally, like right now, interestingly enough, you can get 2 tickets in the end zone, row 16, 100 level, for $6,400. That's ridiculous.
No, that's.
It,
I mean, it's more than I'm spending on a game, but yeah.
well, $6,000 gets you row 14.
Yeah.
It's literally these, like, there's a lot of A pluses right now as far as ratings go. Normally around this time for a Super Bowl, there would be a lot of B's and C's. You don't get A pluses. A pluses means that there's nobody buying these tickets. Bless you again.
Man, getting killed over here.
So it's very interesting. Let me see what the 100 levels, first 3 rows. Let's see.
64. That would be each. They're up.
The cheapest first 3 rows. Let's go with cheapest. You can get in the first 3 rows, 50-yard line for $8,000.
All right.
That is wow. Actually, that's a wow. That's not bad at all. Row 1 for $8,600.
Browns Saints in Paris. I mean, okay.
You can keep the Browns in Paris,
right? Like that's going to be a garbage game. So
that's the perfect one to send to France.
Yeah.
I can't wait for them to do it up in Saskatchewan, where we play on a Canadian football field.
Yep.
I think it's coming eventually.
I'm surprised it hasn't happened.
Well, Buffalo used to play the Sky Dome, 1 or 2 preseason games every year up in Toronto. So I'm surprised they just haven't been like, oh, let's just bring another preseason game up here, or let's just bring annually. Buffalo plays 1 game in Toronto every year.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of. I'm surprised we don't have that.
Same thing with Seattle. I mean, you don't want to lose a home game, but I'm surprised Seattle doesn't do like an annual game up in Vancouver.
Vancouver's too close.
Edmonton.
Yeah, like you'd have to. Vancouver's close enough that you can just drive down to a game.
Have an annual game in Edmonton or Saskatchewan for the Seahawks every year.
Yeah, because from Seattle, Vancouver is roughly the same amount of drive time as Portland.
Okay.
So, but that being said, I mean they do, they do have like this last year they played a WNBA game up there, so it's not that it doesn't happen, but it is so close that those types of things don't generally.
Do you get like a lot? Do you get like a lot of Vancouver sports by you?
What do you mean?
So like how obviously like you live in Seattle, so you would have like all the Seattle sports teams as like your regional coverage.
Oh yeah.
You get like a lot of Vancouver teams too, since that market is close to your market.
Yeah. So I mean, we get a lot of Vancouver. We get a lot of Portland.
Okay.
Because I mean, proximity.
Yeah.
You're only a couple hours away.
Yeah.
So. I mean, either direction, you're about a 3-hour drive. So, but
BC Lions.
Ooh, okay. So I was looking at like where the Super Bowl is going to be held, and they only have it for Super Bowl 61 and 62. 61 is in SoFi again.
Yep.
Yep.
And 62 is in Megatron's Butthole in Atlanta.
Yep.
63 has got speculation that it could be in Buffalo.
Yep.
Okay. I'm telling you.
I'm telling you this. I'm telling you this. If they put a Super Bowl in Buffalo, they better be putting one in Lambeau Field then, because both teams are going to suck weather-wise that time of year.
Well, no, they're going to do it because of the dome, but there's no real dome.
It's not a dome. It's still open air.
Yeah.
So I don't know that they're going to do it in Buffalo. It's going to suck.
That's what I said. If they end up putting one in Buffalo, then Lambeau Field and some of these other stadiums that are open air, cold stadiums better be putting a bid in, because if Buffalo can have one, then these other places can have
Green
one.
Bay's not big enough though, so Green Bay's not. But I mean, it's not that they will never do an open air. I mean, MetLife got it once.
Yeah, and the MetLife was warmer than Dallas.
MetLife was unseasonably warm when
53 degrees and raining for the Super Bowl, and then the year after that in Dallas, it was 38 and nice.
Yeah, no, it was like I was looking forward to like a snow Super Bowl. I was like, oh, this is gonna be rad, and it was like in the 50s. Like, what happened?
And rain. Damn.
Yeah, like all day, it was horrible weather-wise, but the temperature was like, well, I guess people can deal with this.
Yeah, Lumen's never going to get one either.
Well, they're talking about it now, how the Eagles, or Jeffrey Lurie, is talking about securing the land for a new stadium.
Okay.
Because the lease comes up in 31. And I will tell you that as of right now, the biggest problem with the sports complex and connecting everything that is close enough to it is that right behind there's 95. That's not the big deal. But on the other side of 95 is one of the most highly trafficked train yards on the East Coast. So, because that's where the shipping containers come off at. So they have lots of trains that are right there. And you can't just cross trains. You can't, that makes it no bueno. Like, it's no good. You have to tunnel underneath of them. And you have to tunnel far enough underneath of them. Well, the problem is that all those trains right there are built on what used to be the Delaware River. And they, the river used to be much wider. So now
you're describing Seattle. So we have the Port of Seattle that's directly south of our stadiums. The trains roll right next to the stadium. King Street Station is literally like a block away. And the entire city of Seattle is built on fill. That's why we have the underground city tours, because Seattle is literally fill dirt built on top of the old city.
Right.
So,
which is great. That underground tour is amazing. If you ever go to Seattle, you definitely got to take it.
You definitely have to take it. It is very cool. It is very cool. But the downside to those situations is it makes it hard to get around that area. And there's not enough easy transportation. So like Seattle getting a Super Bowl the odds are low. Now we're getting the World Cup. So, we'll see. We'll see what that kind of population influx can happen. But I mean, if you spent that time downtown, it's going to be a nightmare. I would imagine where you guys are looking is probably not quite as compact as the heart of Seattle.
So on the other side of the trains is the old Philadelphia Navy Yard.
Okay.
And that's where they would have to start the digging. So it's like there would be some type of hub that would bring you down, and so that, because there's a tremendous amount of space over there, meant that could be used for hotels and nightlife and stuff like that. That's right up against the river, which is nice. You know what I mean? Now, obviously, there is some industry there. There's a lot of, they switched over that boat, the Navy Yard to now Acre, who is, I think, a Danish shipping company. You know what I mean? That deals with fixing boats and stuff like that, like large ships and stuff like that. That being said, when they would take down the link, when that would come down, all of that area would become shopping and a concert hall and all this other stuff. Like they want to make that the premier spot for everything. Like they're going to have like a smaller stadium for like the WNBA and stuff like that. Like they wanted to try to make this all like a basketball only arena, a hockey only arena, a concert hall that has nothing to do with the things, the number of eateries and things like that. They want to make it a whole metroplex.
Okay.
So, but if they did that, it would be a retractable dome stadium in Philly.
Yeah.
And we would get a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, basically having a covered field is almost required at this point.
Right. Which is why I feel like that Buffalo will not get it. They're just, they'll get one because they built the new stadium, and you have to build a new stadium. Can't refurbish your old one. You got to build a new one.
Yep.
And if you build the new stadium, they will give you a Super Bowl. It'll suck up there. It'll absolutely suck in Buffalo.
It'll be horrible. Weather, everything will be horrible up there.
But you won't get snowed on.
You
will get snowed on.
Yeah, the first
because they haven't figured out how the snow is going to work. It's so once it gets in, it's going to swirl around there. They're trying to make it so that it's windproof, but it ain't going to be windproof.
Yeah. Yeah, down below we'll still get some snow, but
that's when you'll get the lake effect. Weirdo stuff that comes off that monster. Like we'll have the Super Bowl there, and then they're going to get these monster influx of ice that comes off of the lake.
Right.
You remember that a couple years ago?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like it would just encroach on everything, and like 18 people will be at the Super Bowl.
Nah, I mean people will show up, but
not if you can't get there. If you got to wear like hiking stuff to get to anywhere, you're not going to go.
I don't know. I think it would just be a lot of people that live in Buffalo would go. Like,
you'd have people from Toronto coming down because it's close to Toronto. You'd have people probably from Montreal, that area, coming over because
Toronto, Ottawa,
Montreal, like all those areas. You'd have people there. Obviously, people from the New England area, Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, would be probably coming over.
I mean, I could get up there. I mean, it's not that hard for me. It's just that you don't want to fly in because you want to be able to get out.
Right.
Yeah.
And that airport also can't handle the influx of people that would come in. That's the other thing, that it's not a good airport.
Is there a secondary airport that's close?
Albany,
okay. Toronto. Then you have to drive across the border.
Yeah, that's tougher when you're doing rental cars and stuff, though.
Yeah. But
Toronto, Ubers. You can't Uber across the border.
Yeah, Toronto's at least got a big airport where they could handle the airport traffic. It's just like
Toronto's an international hub.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but yeah, no, when it comes to renting cars and stuff like that, it kind of knocks that one out.
White Plains is close too. White Plains Airport.
Okay.
They actually have for a small city, they actually have a pretty good sized airport where they could probably deviate the air traffic probably 50-50 between Buffalo and White Plains. I think White Plains is like 35-40 minutes from Buffalo, so it's not that far away.
Yeah, but isn't that only a private field?
No. I used to fly into Buffalo or White Plains all the time. When my stepmom worked in Connecticut, we always had to fly from either Appleton to Detroit or Appleton to White Plains. And then we got a connecting flight to White Plains to take it to her office in Boston.
Yeah, I mean, the difference with that one is if you're coming from the West Coast, you can fly directly into Buffalo.
Yeah, it'd be more so like the people
White
that are like
Plains,
local.
You'd have a layover somewhere.
Yeah, but that's only a 40-minute drive from Buffalo. So I mean, if need be, like they could deviate some of the air traffic to White Plains if they had to, and then you just drive the 40 minutes from there to Buffalo.
Yeah, they still have TWA flights out of White Plains.
Yeah.
Got that last Pan Am flight.
I remember TWA, Teeny Weeny Airlines.
Yep.
Yeah, White Plains used to be a big Northwest hub until Northwest got bought out.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
That's where a lot of the Northwest planes went. Like, obviously, Detroit was also very big for Northwest, but that was for more like the international flights, like the cross-country flights, like the shorter Northwest flights from like Indianapolis or whatever, even from Ohio area or whatever. They would just reroute into White Plains because that was a Northwest hub.
Well, there we go. Now we know all the different flights, just in case we ever have to go to Buffalo for a Super Bowl.
I was gonna say there's a bunch of information that doesn't matter to anybody.
Not right now, it don't.
I can guarantee anybody watching this show is not going to remember this 3 years from now if it happens.
Exactly.
Man.
And you can bet whether the Super Bowl is going to be in Buffalo. Oh, and bet US 125% back. Your first $100.
There probably is a prop bet for the next location of a Super Bowl. I can't say that I've tried to do that one, but it would not shock me if that's a prop bet.
There you go.
That does get us to the top of the hour, though. If you've been watching along with us and watched me struggle through this thing, sneezing my brains out for whatever reason, be sure to like and subscribe. Otherwise, we're going to get out of here, and I guess I'm going to take an allergy pill or something. I have no idea what's going on. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Take it easy, everybody.
Later.